I'm calm now because I'm not competing. I'm trying, I was trying to get the number one spot in the rankings for Street Fighter 6. I honestly thought if there was consistent group of people playing on there, I would have been able to do it. But unfortunately, there's no one playing, especially if the game was the way it's supposed to be. But of course, Capcom Japan starts the process of making a game that should not be the way it is, and then Capcom USA finalizes it by just leaving it the way it is. So, I did kind of find like a solution to kind of fix some of the issues, because I think it has to do more with like being able to combo, every character being able to combo after, especially after EX moves. With the exception, of course, of Kimberly, which is the character I use in Street Fighter 6. Her EX moves, with the exception of the run, that literally only has like two combinations in the entire game. Um, which is also very hard at the highest level to land. Um, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so like I don't know if they honestly banned me from Street Fighter 6 to play online because I feel like I can't find anyone, especially after Mortal Kombat 1 came out. I still have not gotten the game. I really did not like the beta. That's why I did not get it. I was 100% going to get it until I played the beta, and then I was like, this is such a downgrade from Mortal Kombat 11 that I'm like extremely disappointed as a fan. I'm not going to sit there and pretend that it's okay because it's really not. It feels like they really rushed Mortal Kombat 1 in comparison to Mortal Kombat 11. But when it comes to like Street Fighter, like for example, I was trying to explain like basically, um, like let's say for example, Blanca Ball, is because I know what you guys are trying to do is like, oh well, if what if he lands an EX Blanca Ball? You know what I'm saying? It could just do more damage, or it could wall bounce. Like if he lands EX Blanca Ball, it should wall bounce. They should wall bounce, and then he could do another one. You know what I'm saying? Or he could do an up ball, or he could do electricity. Anything that Blanca really wants to do in that situation. If he wants to set up the Blanca ball, I mean the Blanca doll, that's cool too. That rainbow ball he does, that's supposed to be anti-projectile. That should not be safe on block. I think it should have better invincibility on. I don't. I think it takes too long to start up, but that's supposed to be projectile only, and I'm a little confused. He has a lot of like for example, if the Blanca ball hits on EX, it could end with the standing roundhouse. You know that little backflip hard kick that he does. I think standing roundhouse is a backflip that he does. After the Blanca ball hits on EX, he could do the standing hard kick maybe, and he could kick them into the air, and like you could do a follow up. You could get additional damage. I think it would just be easier for the developers if they just did a wall bounce after the EX Blanca ball. Um, if the regular Blanca ball hits, it could do the command grab animation where he kind of lands on top of the opponent and starts biting him. Um, I don't honestly mind that he has a command grab. I don't honestly think he needs one because he already has his original move that's supposed to be anti-projectile. That's the Blanca ball, the rainbow ball, the back forward. It used to be back forward kick charge. Now they changed it to, I think it's like is it half circle back now? Um, that's the big issue that like on EX, let's say E Honda, um, like the same thing. Like I just don't understand. I don't understand how players are like. I noticed the big issue is primarily with the charge characters in Street Fighter. If they just fixed that, it would make all the difference. Like for example, like Guile doesn't need a crouching fierce because his flash kick is so good, right? But they still allow him to do that. Like they still allow him to basically get easy anti-airs. And I'm not gonna even sit and complain, but if they took Kimberly's crouching fierce away, I would still be good and I would still be winning. Whereas if they took crouching fierce away from like a lot of these Guile players that are out now, they would be losing. If they took that away, these Guile players like standing hard kick and all that stuff, that should not be working in certain situations like anti-air are working. You know what I mean? Um, like I don't want you guys to think that I'm competitive, so like if I start saying the truth about the game, everyone else is saying it online as well. I'm not the only one that's saying it. So like if I feel like I don't know, I feel like you guys are banning me from playing online. If you guys are doing that, that's kind of messed up because I've done nothing but support your company over the years. And like I've probably bought more of your products than anyone else here in the United States, like literally. Um, you know what I'm saying? And it's I'm trying to help them make a better game. Like when I come up with suggestions for Dragon's Dogma or like for the magician to do, because the mage obviously is like the coolest, class that you could pick in an RPG. Everybody knows that. You know what I'm saying? I have picked mage, but like for me it's kind of boring trying to run away and be a little piece of shit and just throw like projectiles at your enemy. So like I personally like to be in the trenches, so I'll pick like the knight and shit and just be like scrapping and shit, and I find more fun in that for me. You know what I'm saying? I did like that you could combine like the knight and the mage. Like if after you reach a certain level, you could upgrade to like I forget exactly what it was called, but like Dragon's Dogma really is the only RPG that I ever liked. You know what I'm saying? Like other than that, I played Final Fantasy VII. The original one, not the remake, the original one. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was amazing. Like the graphics, I was like, oh shit! Like I really want to buy the game when it comes out because I played the demo. I was like, yo, I fell in love with the demo. I was like, yo, this shit is kind of dope. Like the graphics when they're like attacking each other and stuff and actually fighting, I was like, oh shit, this shit's hot. And then I bought the real game and I was like, yo, this shit hard as fuck to beat though. Because I just didn't understand as a kid, like, oh, you have to actually like continue grinding and battling to level up so you could like beat a certain boss that normally you would not be able to beat. I just did not understand that as a younger kid. I thought it was just pick up the game, play the game, and beat it. But RPGs is a little bit different. Like RPGs more like grinding. Like you have to really like battle just to get your character to a certain level, just so you can compete with a boss that you have to play to beat the story mode. I didn't know it was like that as a kid. You know what I'm saying? Now I understand that. So like now if I play an RPG like Dragon's Dogma, which I thought was brilliant, I feel like they obviously made Dragon's Dogma in the United States and not in Japan. Not to say that Japan cannot make a good RPG, because Okami for me is the best RPG of all time. Not just the graphic style, the art brush paint style, but just the originality. Just how creative it was. Just how original it was. Just how amazingly funny it was. Just the sound effects when you hear people talking in the game is funny. They're like, they're just doing gibberish. It's funny as hell though. And the way they draw the characters is funny. Like they draw like these weird white guys with long hair that he's supposed to be like a prophet. And he's like always coming around and giving you knowledge, and then he just vanishes into the shadows and shit. And then there's like this one guy, that he thinks he's really the hero saving the day, but it's really you doing all the hard work. Like similar to like to Kid and Play and shit, where the light skinned dude, he thought he was really the tough guy and shit, but he really had like a real tough nigga like watching all his moves and shit. And like whooping everyone's ass and shit for him and shit. I thought that was brilliant. You know what I'm saying? Like I like that's a classic comedy. Like everyone knows that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna deny that. That's one of the funniest movies of all time. You know what I'm saying? But like basically what I'm saying is, you know, when it comes to Street Fighter, I feel like Street Fighter is like Capcom's biggest like game, you know? Like it's the most successful. It's like a lot of people call it the grandfather of all fighting games. Like it's the original me versus you fighting game. Like were there fighting games before Street Fighter? Yeah, of course. Were they really like good in like a competitive aspect? Absolutely not. Like Street Fighter was the first competitive multiplayer fighting game that really set the standard for like one versus one, me versus you, let's see who's better. And it's like, it's kind of a shame that Capcom, like, I know they have the talent to fix it. And the reason I complain about it is because it's worth complaining about. Like, if E Honda misses 100-hand slap, should I only get like a jab punish or a medium? I should be able to fucking crush counter him after that. I mean, not even crush counter. I'm sorry, I said crush counter. Drive impact. Even if it was in Street Fighter V, I should be able to crush counter him. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like, if I block his headbutt, I should crush counter the shit out of him. And even if that means when headbutt does hit, it puts way more space in between you and the opponent, which I think is an easy solution to them fixing the problem. Because I have the ice cream song playing in the background right now. You know the one, hello. What was I gonna say? Basically, like, you know, that's unacceptable for me as a player. Because there's a lot of E Honda players that have absolutely no talent. A lot of people are bragging about this blind E Honda player that went to the big tournament and he was actually eliminating players. And I'm sitting there like, I'm not impressed, though. Whether he's blind or not does not matter. You know what I'm saying? Whether he's blind or not does not matter. E Honda's so broken in the game that, like, you don't need to see the screen to win. Like, everyone's like, oh my God, this blind player, he's beating everybody. Oh my God. And I'm sitting there like, who cares? That's not impressive. I'm the only guy that's like, yo, I'm not impressed though, because E Honda's broken. And it takes no talent to use him. And I say the same thing for Blanka. It should not be like that. You know, the general strategy of a fighting game is part of what makes the fighting game so good in the first place. It's confusing to me that Capcom allows Marvel vs. Capcom 3 to be such a success, even though when they originally released the game, shortly thereafter they re-released it with more characters. I thought that was a big slap in the face to all the fans that originally bought the original Marvel vs. Capcom 3. They didn't get a free update with the Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Like, they got I think it was a little bit cheaper, but like that's not the point though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't stand when you guys do that in this day and age. Like, after I buy a $60 game, you want to already charge me like another $30, $40 to buy the update, like, that you guys should have released in the first place. You guys could have held the release, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a big slap in the face to all the fans that are spending their money at your company, hoping that, like, you're appreciating them as a fan, you know? And obviously with the way Street Fighter 6 is, you're still releasing DLC characters. Aki is about to come out in another week. I have to buy that. Otherwise, I'm going to have to... I won't be able to practice with the character. I won't be able to see what the computer does with the character. I won't be able to see none of that. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's you know, there's ways that they can make it happen, you know? There's ways where they could like, there could be more impactful hits. You know, like let's say I do get hit with Blanka Ball. I could like get hit in the chest, my character could react to getting hit in the chest and like just crumble onto their knees and then fall. Like, it doesn't have to be like I get knocked down, I'm right back on my feet. That's the problem with Street Fighter. You know, these are supposed to be special moves and super moves, right? And they're supposed to make the game... They're the reason why everyone loves the game, is to see how spectacular the special moves and the EX special moves and the super moves are. And first of all, when you call it a critical art, you make it sound way worse. It should be called a super move because guess what? That sounds way better than critical art. Critical art sounds corny. That shit sounds whack. You know, when I caught him with a super, even people that don't even know what the fuck you're talking about, when you say, oh, in Street Fighter I caught him with a super, they're going to be like, oh, it got to be something good. If you tell someone, oh, I caught him with a critical art, they're going to be like, what, you showed him a painting or something? You know what I'm saying? That just sounds whack. Stop changing the terminology, man. Like, super is dope. Special move, we all understand that. Oh, it's obviously something special. You know, even people that don't know about the game are going to know, oh, it's probably something good. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the problem with Street Fighter. They could easily have the perfect game, but they just don't put that last bit of effort to make it the perfect game. Like, if I get hit with Blanca Ball, I could get, like, basically put into, like, on a regular Blanca Ball, I should get put into a crumble state where I cannot get countered. They cannot do a follow-up combo, not unless it's an EX. If it's an EX, I just wall bounce to simplify it. You know what I'm saying? To simplify it. That's usually what they do in Capcom fighting games. They'll either do a ground bounce or a wall bounce. That way you can't get too much additional damage. You know what I'm saying? I do agree that after landing an EX special move, you should get additional damage. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, with Zangief, I think it should be way easier to do the EX Lariat into the air grab. Now, let's say he does the EX Lariat into a EX air grab. Like, that should be possible as well. With Kimberly, that's not possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's only possible if you do the spray can first. That's crazy. You know, and you just make it so hard. Like it should not be that hard. There should be more airtime. You guys can easily fix that. You know, these are the reasons why people are leaving your game and going to Mortal Kombat 1. Exactly like I said. Because Mortal Kombat 1 makes more sense fundamentally as a fighting game. It's not to say that Street Fighter is bad. That doesn't mean that Street Fighter is bad as a fighting game. That means that you guys are not doing the little bit of effort to make it the perfect game. Because if you did what I'm telling you to do, everyone would love it and everyone would understand it. A player tries to go for a 100-hand slap with E Honda and misses. Guess what? Now he gets countered. That's the way it should be. Can you counter him now? Yes. Can you counter him the way I feel the game should allow you to counter him? No. I should be able to do standing hard punch, standing hard kick, whatever the fuck I want to do at that point. If I want to do drive impact, I should be able to do that as well. I think most beginner players understand just doing a drive impact and then like, okay, I could basically do anything at that point. Most advanced players go, no, I'm not going to do the drive impact because that's going to lower the amount of damage that I get overall within the combo. You know what I'm saying? That's going to like drastically reduce how much damage you get overall. You know what I'm saying? The same way it did in Street Fighter 4. You know, when you like a lot of people like, oh, you know, if they missed the uppercut, they would do like a level 2 focus attack, like on stun, they would do a level 3 focus attack and then try to combo you. No, you should just combo them because you're gonna get way more damage that way. You know what I'm saying? But like obviously that game is no longer around, even though I think it's like the combo system in Street Fighter 4 as complex as it could get, and you know I still think it's the best combo system in any fighting game that ever existed. There's no doubt about it. In fact, I feel like King of Fighters 12 originally they basically took the entire concept of Street Fighter 4 and tried to almost simplify it with the kind of crush that you could do in King of Fighters 12. I thought King of Fighters 12 was actually better than King of Fighters 13. Unfortunately, you know, all the players were complaining about it. The graphics this, and it doesn't look that good on the HD televisions, man. They ruined it because, you know, they made the game even worse. In King of Fighters 13, there was literally like touch of death combos. You get hit one time, and Chin is fucking bouncing you off the wall for 10 minutes. Where in the original game, he was not able to do that. And Chin is one of my favorite characters. The Drunken Master? I mean, are you kidding me? Of course I picked the Drunken Master. He looks funny as hell. That old guy looks funny as hell in the game. That's the problem with King of Fighters is that they have, first of all, they need a medium punch and a medium kick. You should be able to grab your opponent out of a run. If you're running towards your opponent, and it doesn't matter if you hit jab, it doesn't matter if you hit, the grab should be able to, you should be able to grab out of a run. I do like that it's like the grabs in King of Fighters are not 2 buttons, they're 1 button like the original Street Fighter game. Street Fighter 2. I don't even think there were grabs in Street Fighter 1. You should be able to grab your opponent out of a run. I think they should take away the small jumps in King of Fighters. I think there's just absolutely no need for there to be a small jump in the game. Me personally, I don't think it should be in the game. I don't mind that there's rolls in King of Fighters. I really don't. I don't think there should be a dodge in Samurai Showdown. I think that's part of what makes the fighting game good in the first place. Are there like... The reason I say that is because fighting games have like already a limited amount of options. There's already like usually SNK play more fighting games or Neo Geo fighting games. Oh, they always had 4 buttons. They always simplified their fighting games to have 4 buttons instead of 6 like Street Fighter. I personally thought that was a bad move. If they added the medium punch and medium kick to SNK fighting games, it would make it so much better. I think it's obvious that Street Fighter 6 obviously used the same developers from King of Fighters 12, 13, 14, and 15. They obviously used the same guys that made that game. Why? How do I know that? I have nothing to do with the video game industry. I'm just a fan. How do you think I know that? Because the way the combos work in Street Fighter 6 is very similar to how the combos work in King of Fighters. It's very easy. It's very responsive. It feels like everything kind of connects with everything. It feels like the way Street Fighter should have had, basically from day one. They did that in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Like I said, the fans always complaining about some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm complaining about some real shit. The shit I'm complaining about is worth complaining about. The shit that fake fans are complaining about, and when Street Fighter Cross Tekken comes out, they did some data mining and they realized, first of all, you're not supposed to be doing data mining. When you buy a PC fighting game or whatever the hell you're doing, you're not supposed to data mine it and find out all the little secrets and intricacies of the game and change the source code and change the images that the original developers put. You're not supposed to do that. Are people going to get mad at you for doing that? No. Are people going to get mad at you for changing the sound effects of a game? No. If that's what you want to do, that's cool. But like when you find out like that the original characters were like already on the disc and like, oh, now we're not going to support it and buy it anymore. If enough fans like complained about it, like I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to get the characters basically for free. I had no problem buying the DLC pack for that because I thought it was such a good DLC pack. It had like 20 characters in it. You know what I'm saying? I love the customization and although I think it brings more harm than good into the fighting game, what I mean by that is that a player will pick an all-black everything, on an all-black training stage and then try to pretend to be good. There's players that do that, and they think it's funny. And in a way, it kind of is. But, like, it's not funny because it's funny. It's funny because he's such a piece of shit wasting everyone's time. You know what I mean? So like, um, so like basically what you know what I'm saying? So make a long story short, like I said, I know I'm jumping back and forth. Like I'm a huge Capcom fan. Like ever since Street Fighter 2, I remember seeing Street Fighter 1, but like I never really liked Street Fighter 1. I thought Street Fighter 1, although like when it came out, everyone was like, it never became the popular fighting game that it is today until Street Fighter 2 World Warriors. Like when Street Fighter 2 originally came out, you know, I was a little kid, you know what I'm saying? But like everyone that I knew in my school and like anytime I went to the arcade to play it, they all loved it. Everybody loved the game. Everybody was playing the game. Everyone was just having fun playing against each other. Like primarily, almost everybody used either Guile or Ken or Ryu. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the only special moves that people could do on the arcade stick was the fireball. You know what I'm saying? So like almost everyone that played Guile could do the sonic boom and the flash kick. So like Guile was like considered one of the best characters because he was real easy to do all the special moves and win. And either that or like almost everyone played like Ryu or Ken. You know what I'm saying? Um, you get what I'm saying? You know, honestly, I think like even the older games could use the simple mode. Like when I talk about the older games, I mean like even the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. You know, even that could use the Capcom Fighting Network, which I think is like I think that's brilliant. What Capcom's doing when it comes to connecting more than one console. Like I think that's awesome. I know they're all computers, and it's really not difficult for anyone that really knows how to computer networking. Like I know it's not really too much of a challenge for them to get computers. Like they obviously have to know what they're doing, but I mean it's all computers. The PlayStation is a computer. A lot of people forget that. The Nintendo Switch is a computer. The Xbox is a computer. Obviously, computers are computers. You know, but they're the first company that's really combining all the Street Fighter fans, regardless of what computer they play on. And I think that's the right move. I'm a little upset that Mortal Kombat does not do that. The fans would gladly. I guarantee you, all the WB games, fighting game fans, would gladly subscribe to your Mortal Kombat fighting game network, similar to the Capcom Fighting Network. That's what they do with Street Fighter 6. They combine all the communities from PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Unfortunately, Capcom was too ignorant to release Street Fighter 6 on the Switch and Street Fighter 5 on the Switch. It would have made a fortune on the game. Even if it looked like trash, we would have all still supported it and all still enjoyed it. It's obvious that, like, I know a lot of people are complaining about Mortal Kombat 1 the way it looks on the Switch, but let's be honest here. It's the Switch, though. The fact that they were able to make it run exactly the way it runs on PlayStation 5 shows how much hard work they put into making the Switch version of Mortal Kombat 1 a reality. So that shows to me that they really do want as many fans as humanly possible playing their game, and I do respect that, and I do like that. I thought Capcom could have easily done that. You know, they released Street Fighter 4 on the 3DS as a launch game, which I thought was a good move for them, right? But the problem with that was, you know, they never released it on the Switch, which would have been even more successful. You know, even if it was the same kind of port, even to this very day, if they released Street Fighter 4 on the Switch, I guarantee you it would still do good. Even if they released Street Fighter Cross Tekken on the Switch, they released Street Fighter Cross Tekken on PlayStation Vita. I thought it was brilliant. I thought, especially on the OLED model of the PlayStation Vita, I mean, it looked like I was so amazed at the time because, like, handheld gaming, I never got a PlayStation Portable. So, like, the first PlayStation Portable that I ever got was the PlayStation Vita. And that's because I was working at the time. I was like, damn, like, I'm a huge Capcom fighting game fan. I love Japanese fighting games. I think they're hilarious. You know, I love Tekken for what it is, and I love Street Fighter for what it is. Um, you know, uh, it's I'm not gonna sit here and say that like Street Fighter is the worst fighting game of all. I'm not gonna say that because it's really not. And if they just put a little bit more effort into it, everyone would understand it. And that's the big issue with the game is that players are giving up on the game before they really appreciate and understand how good the game is. You know what I'm saying? There's always a way to deal with the situation, and if not, well, good. You should be blocking. You know what I'm saying? Like even if blocking is your way to deal with the situation, well then that's what you should be doing. But that's what makes the game so fun is that there's a lot of knowledge that goes into the game. I just don't think that they're tweaking the game enough. Especially, I noticed the biggest problem is with the recovery of special moves and supers. Sometimes I think for super moves they put the opponent way too far away. Supers should only hit one time. Like for example, Rose in Street Fighter V, she had a super that hit more than one time. They called it a critical art. I disagree with that. I disagree with there being super command grabs. I don't necessarily. What I'm saying is this: they don't have to change the animation. They don't have to change the animation. They could even lower the damage on it if you can combo it. I understand the reason why they do that for Zangief. I understand the reason why they do that is because they feel that if he could just crouching light kick, crouching jab into level 3 super, he essentially becomes too good. I think there really is a real logic behind why they do it the way they do, right? Almost like unless it's online, most Zangief players never land a level 3. Like I haven't seen a way to really combo a level 3 super with Zangief. I was trying, I could not find one. He could level 1 into level 2. That's pretty cool. I like that option. I kind of understand what they're doing. Like I kind of understand why they don't allow it. I think the level 3 super does way too much damage for Zangief. I feel like Zangief players should have to be way better. I feel like the command grab characters should have to be comboing their command grab. The move doesn't necessarily have to change. The fact that they have to be good has to change. It's not fair that players are able to win without having to put in all the hard work that other players are doing to win, such as myself, such as a lot of other talented players out there. And they all know what I mean, but when I say that. And it's particularly with what I noticed the most is with the command grab characters like Zangief, Manon, or whatever the hell that bitch's name is. Way too similar to Manat, I think. They could have chose a better name. Charge characters like, for example, Guile's forward medium kick. Or back, I remember in Super Turbo, he would be able to do a back medium kick or a forward medium kick. If he does a forward medium kick, he should not be safe on block, in my opinion. If he does a back hard kick that basically pushes him forward with a hard kick, that should not be safe on block. I believe you can crouching jab his back hard kick on block. But his forward medium kick and his back light kick, I remember he had a back light kick that he kind of did like a jumping knee. That should not be safe on block. His forward hard kick, that should be safe on block. The one that he does the upside down kick, that should be safe on block. His overhead. I think the startup of his crouching fierce punch should be way slower, like almost like Ryu. Like I think they did a good job with giving Ryu like a way slower crouching fierce. I think even Ken should have a way slower one as well. If they did that to Kimberly, I would not mind. In fact, if they gave Kimberly like a non-existent one, I would even understand. You know what I'm saying? I do agree with other Street Fighter players out there that they have podcasts that Kimberly's Crouching Fierce is one of the best in the game. I do agree with that. Have I used it in competitive play in ranked matches? Of course I have. But like, if it wasn't in competitive play and I could not use Crouching Fierce at all as an anti-air, would I still be winning? Yes. Would other players out there that are relying heavily on those Crouching Fierces to anti-air, would they still be winning? I don't think so. I don't honestly think so. If like, let's say, for example, if their flash kick or their up kick with DJ had to hit a little bit later, if it hit way later and they didn't have to deal with the neutral game so much, they could have basically avoided the neutral game with the flash kick, right? This is my big problem with the game. Is the reason why I say these characters are the best characters in the game. And when people are saying Kimberly is one of the best characters in the game, I honestly think she's one of the worst characters in the game. If you ask me, I still think she's one of the worst characters in the game. She does some of the weakest damage in the game, and she's not even easy to. It's not even easy to land her big damaging combos. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So like, I know a lot of players are like, oh, I'll just listen to what he's saying and complaining about and use those characters. Yeah, guess what? I use those characters too. Like, you guys think you're so smart. You fake fans think you're so smart, and you think you're just gonna go to the tournament and like, oh, I'm just gonna pick all the things he complains about. Yeah, I could do that too. I know how to use those characters too. It's not that difficult. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing that ever since I was a little kid. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I think it's an insult to all the longtime fans that have supported you for over the years to really change, you know, the core gameplay of how a player is used and you approach it. You know, if you guys really listen to me, I think a lot of people would understand it a little bit more. The level 3 Zangief command grab, it does a lot of damage. Like I said, I think I have seen players combo. I don't know how they did it. Maybe I just didn't. The lag did not recognize, me escaping. But in Street Fighter V, he could combo it. And considering how hard it is to do within a combo, with the exception of drive impact or like a level 3 focus, there's a lot of Zangief players that would never be able to combo the level 3, and basically in the highest level it's almost non-existent. You know what I'm saying? That's why I think when it comes to Russian Wrestler, when you saw me playing Russian Wrestler, I stopped playing him. When I first started playing Street Fighter 6, I was using only Russian Wrestler. I was only using Zangief. And almost every single combo that I did was into the lariat spin, the vacuum spin, into level 2. I did level 1 into level 2. If I only had level 1, I would do level 1 into something extra, maybe an air command grab. If I had level 2, I would go right into the level 2. And I won a lot of rounds against players that I should probably never have beat with my Zangief, because my Zangief is not even that dope. But like, I won a lot of amazing matches. Did it take me a long time? Yeah. But did I still win against players that like actually knew how to play the game and that were actually good? Yeah. And I said, from day one that I said Russian Wrestler is trash unless they allow you to use modern controls. If they allow you to use modern controls, I still think he's the best character in the game. No doubt about it. There's no doubt in my head. The way the game is designed now in Street Fighter 6, with the exception of if maybe he's playing Dalsum, I think that's the only character that really gives him a really hard time. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like when I hear like another thing about that sucks about Street Fighter 6, the stages are horrible. The stages are horrible in Street Fighter 6. I'm very disappointed that by now they have not added the Street Fighter 5 stages. I'm very disappointed that they did not add the amazing music from Street Fighter 5 because the music in Street Fighter 5 is way better than the music in Street Fighter 6. The only song that I really liked in Street Fighter 6 was Blanca. That's the only one that I liked. I feel like a bitch could shake her ass to that song. You know what I'm saying? Like unless I feel a bitch could shake her ass to the song, it's kind of whack. Because otherwise, what's the point of the shit of putting the shit on? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, the Street Fighter V's music was amazing. The intro song for the original Street Fighter V was amazing. I thought the guitar song that they did, I'm still trying to find what the name of that fucking song is. I want to put that on my regular playlist. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was going to the gym to fucking work out, but I don't. But if I did, that would be on the fucking playlist for gym workout songs. Because that shit is fucking amazing. That guitar is like straight fight music, straight like hype. Like, I don't know. Like, as soon as I hear it, I get hype. I get in the mood to play. I want to keep playing over and over, hearing that song in the background. You know what I'm saying? That the guitarist that made that fucking song deserves way more money. Because it's songs like that that really makes players go, man, this is amazing. I don't know if it was a Japanese guitarist or an American guitarist, because right now the only guitarists that I feel like that really do amazing, like rock and roll style music, is Japanese or American. You know what I'm saying? I feel personally, recently, I don't think there's been too many Europeans that have been putting out like classic rock and roll songs anymore. Like songs that make you go like, damn, you could play this at the club and people would still love this shit. Like I don't really hear too many songs these days. I'm not saying they don't have classics. I'm saying like nowadays, like I feel like rock and roll is like almost dead and buried at this point. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if you go to Japan, if you look at any of their fighting games in Japan, if you listen to the soundtracks, if you really like rock and roll, if you listen to the fighting game soundtracks from Japan, you will be so amazed at how good these Japanese guitarists are. Like the Guilty Gear soundtrack for Accent Core, which I still think is the best Guilty Gear of all time, even though I felt like every character could just like infinite shoot and shit. Like I was never that good. I was never good enough on D-pad to really do those amazing combos that I see the Japanese players doing. If they made the game a little bit easier to do on controller, I think that game is amazing. I really don't like how they changed Angie Moto. I don't like how they changed Angie Moto in Guilty Gear. What's the new one that's out right now? Strive. He's my favorite character in the entire game. I like the bitch with the blonde bitch with the hair. She kind of plays like Chun-Li a little bit, like but with punch instead of kick. And then she does like this little spin and like DJ spin, turntable spin, and she keeps hitting you in the corner with it. I love Biken. Biken is like my favorite character in Guilty Gear as well. I usually only pick the characters in Guilty Gear that did the super motion similar to Street Fighter, where it was a double quarter circle forward. I prefer that for fighting games. I feel like it's more natural because you're already kind of aiming towards your opponent, and I feel it's very unnatural to land, especially super combos. Like, for example, I understand that there's some supers in the game that are not designed to be a super that you do within a combo. Like, for example, Angimoto has a stomp that he does. He hops in the air, and then he kind of stomps on his tippy toes. I think it's hilarious. I think the Japanese fighting game developers are some of the funniest people on the planet. The things they do with their fighting games are really like the reason why every other fighting game exists today. The reason Tekken and Mortal Kombat exist today and are making a lot of money is because of Street Fighter. If you notice, Sub-Zero in the original Mortal Kombat game is almost identical to Ryu from Street Fighter. The only difference is when his ice ball hits, it freezes the opponent and they can't get out of it. Whereas when Ryu's fireball hit, it hits the opponent and they either get hit or they get knocked to the ground, depending on which one you do. Depending also which game you're playing. It wasn't even in the earlier games. I don't remember. I believe he did have a red fireball in the earlier games, but I think it wasn't until Hyper Fighting or something, or Championship Edition maybe, that they added it. Because he did a half circle forward fireball that would be a red fireball instead of a blue one, and if it did land, it would do a hard knockdown. And basically that guaranteed that you had to block. Depending on your positioning, you had to block at least one fireball. If you were in the corner, depending on your character as well, and depending on the situation, you would have to block two. You know what I'm saying? These are situations that a lot of beginner players don't understand and don't, that they'll get hit by it and they'll go, okay, I'm trash and I'll give up. But if you really understand these kind of specific situations, you'll start winning way more and you'll start doing way better. Me as a long-time player, are you thinking oh, I'm this immaculate player, a perfect player that never made mistakes and never lost? Absolutely not. Any veteran player that has been, professional player that has been playing for a long time, there's no way that they ran into a player that was better than them and they won. Because they ran into players that were more experienced and more advanced than them, and they went, holy shit, I'm trash. We all went through that beginning phase where we went, damn, I'm fucking trash. I was beating all my friends at home. I beat everyone in my family, and I thought I was the shit. And then I started playing online, and I ran into someone that really was the shit. And they wiped their ass with me. Has that happened to me? Of course it has. Does it happen to me now? No. No one could do it now. No player out there is good enough to do that to me. Maybe in Tekken, because I only recently started playing ranked matches in Tekken. But that's because I don't put the time that I do in Street Fighter. And recently I started putting it in Mortal Kombat 11 because I honestly fell in love with the game. At first I was expecting it to be like Street Fighter. And that was my big problem, is that it's not Street Fighter. It looks like Street Fighter. It has some similarities to Street Fighter. But it has a core fundamental game plan that revolves more about combos and basically landing your combos. And that's basically the core essence of Mortal Kombat. And that's why I love it so much. And that's also the core essence of Tekken. So any player that loves Mortal Kombat should be playing Tekken because it's exactly the same. The concept of the fighting game is exactly the same. The only difference is when you get knocked down, there's a lot of when you get knocked to the ground in Tekken, there's way more you could do. You know what I'm saying? There's way more, they call it wake up options in the fighting game community. I don't personally like that game because you're not really knocked out until you're knocked out. So even though they hit the ground, they're not knocked out. So I wouldn't consider it a wake up option. Basically that's what they call it though. You know what I'm saying? In Tekken, it's way more advanced. In Tekken, you're going to want to roll away from your opponent, either up or down, away from their pressure. Otherwise, you're going to get, if you try to quick rise against a Kazuya or a Jin or even a Harang, believe it or not, you're going to get fucking destroyed. If you do it against a Paul player, you're going to get destroyed. But if you play the game correctly, you're not going to get destroyed because there's only so much they could do at that point. And that was the hard lesson I learned as a Tekken player, is that I wanted to quick rise and get right back into the fight. And I was losing a lot of matches that I probably would have won had I just played it a little bit more patient. So that's something that I'm learning in Tekken. Tekken's a little bit different. And in Street Fighter, I never do anything but quick rise and get right back into the action if I can. Because I feel like I'm such a good player that I'm like, I don't care what the fuck they're doing, I want to deal with it. I don't care if he's crossing me up, I'll deal with it. You know what I'm saying? I love Tekken. I think it's the best, for me, Street Fighter started it all. Street Fighter still to this very day, I play Third Strike and Super Turbo, and it makes me laugh hysterically. You have no idea how much enjoyment. I appreciate Capcom USA localizing the game and allowing me, access to the game, because, the game could have easily stayed in Japan and I would have never been able to enjoy it. I think the original sound effects from Super Turbo, and especially when the opponent gets knocked out, like Ken, for example, in Super Turbo is hilarious. Yeah, Bruce Lee, Fei Long, I think he has one of the funniest ones as well. I think Ken's just like, it's just so funny. Why would you change that? Don't change that. Don't change. That's why I get so mad with Mortal Kombat developers as well. The original arcade Mortal Kombats were so hilarious. It's so funny. The knockouts, like for example, Street Fighter 4 Hugo, when he gets knocked out, he screams out for his mom and shit, "Mama!" It's so funny because you see like this 8-foot, 400-pound dude, he's big as hell, you knock him out, and then he's crying out for his mom. As he's getting knocked down, about to hit the ground, you hear him say, "Mama!" That's funny as hell. Don't change that. Reuse those sound effects. That's the problem with your company. You're always trying to pay voice actors to redo it. You don't have to. They already did an amazing job, and those are some of the best sound effects in the entire game. M. Bison is another one. I don't like that you change some of the sound effects when they get knocked out in Ultra Street Fighter 2 that was released on the Switch. I try to find matches on there. No one's ever playing that. I don't know how to use Discord. I never use Discord. I'm sure I can find people to play against on there. That's one of my favorite games is Super Turbo. I love how it's not that the game should be like that, but it's understandable. I think some of the weaker characters in the game, have a difficult time dealing with some of what the best characters could do in Super Turbo. And I feel like it still has not changed. And I feel like if they just changed that, it would make all the difference. You know what I'm saying? Even if, for example, even if charge characters, for example, how would you make a charge character? The same way you make any other character. Instead, you would not have to charge, but the recovery time would be long enough that if you block their Sonic Boom, within a combo, what I'm saying, right? Let's say Guile is full screen. He throws a Sonic Boom, you can't really counter him, right? For the most part, right? There's a lot of Guile players I was beating with characters that they were like, oh, this character's whack or whatever. Now all of a sudden they're saying he has a win button. Oh, he has a win button now. Oh, he has a win button now. Oh, Snake Eyes is still following in my footsteps, I see. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if he hears me because it's true. He beat 3 world champs in the Evolution tournament using the Russian wrestler. Guess who told him about how cheap the Russian wrestler is? I did. Now I don't even know if the tournament's still going. He has a possibility to win $1 million right now because of me. He's considered the best African American player in the United States right now, maybe with the exception of Dominion, which honestly I think is the better player overall. Like if Dominion and Snake Eyes played, I think Dominion would win. You know what I'm saying? Do I think any of the, it would be a good match? I'm sure it would be a good match because they understand the game. Are they using characters that are broken? Both of them are. But is that the smart move to do when you're playing for money? Absolutely. But do I think that's a smart move to do when your business is revolving around making fighting games? Absolutely not. That's the exact opposite of what you should be doing. You know what I'm saying? So like what I'm trying to say is this. When Ryu does like crouching medium kick into EX fireball or standing hard punch into EX fireball, whatever the case may be in that situation, it wall bounces. They wall bounce, they come back just like the sidestep kick. You know what I'm saying? It could be a more impactful hit. That way you could add that recovery time that is much needed. You know what happens like when you see King of Fighters, when they land a special move or a super, it looks like the opponent just kind of got vacuumed into it, and there's nothing they can do about it. They already got hit, they already got countered, and they already got auto comboed or whatever the hell you want to call it. That's what Street Fighter needs to do. I honestly think, I still believe that Street Fighter 6 can be the best Street Fighter of all time. I still think right now, Third Strike, as you can see from the background that I'm on right now, I still play Third Strike to this very day, like every single day. I play Third Strike more than I play Street Fighter 6. The only thing I wish they would do is update Street Fighter Third Strike. I wish they would revisit Third Strike. I wish they would get the same team that made Third Strike Online Edition, because the additional colors they added to the game were amazing. I wish they would have done that for the other game that they did, Darkstalkers Resurrection. I wish they would have added those kind of additional colors to it. But I guess that what they really saw was that there was not as big an audience for Darkstalkers that there is for Street Fighter, and for good reason, because it's just a Street Fighter clone. So like realistically, do I see like that game ever like being like the next best thing? Absolutely not. And I kind of understand why they don't put so much time and energy into it. You know what I'm saying? I just think when an opponent lands a command grab, there should be no super command grabs. Let's be honest here. A player should have to be good, and allowing super command grabs to be in the game is allowing certain characters in the game to do things that certain other characters in the game cannot do. Like, if every character in the game could super command grab, then I would go, yo, this is the most fucking broken fighting game of all time, and I fucking love it. Because if every character could be cheap as fuck, then by all means, I would not give a fuck. At this point, just make the rainbow. If you're going to make certain characters cheap, either make all the characters real cheap and broken. But you know, if you guys don't know what broken means, that means the character should be fixed. When you hear players in the fighting game community saying that character is broken, that means the character should be fixed and is not being fixed. So that's just the fighting game community being real sarcastic and going, yo, that character's fucking cheap as fuck. So they just say the character's broken. It's too good. Like, for example, Rashid, when he first came out, was broken. That's why they fixed him. Is he still one of the best characters in the game? Absolutely. And not because it takes talent, but because it does not take talent. And all these players that are using this character and like maybe getting a cheap win on me, like by like, oh my god, I threw a tornado and then suddenly I'm on the other side and it hit as a cross up. First of all, you know, that should not be allowed in the game, not for that character. He's already too good. He's already too good, man. That's the problem with your game. And as much as you guys, oh, well, I'll just do that to him when I play him in a tournament. I hope so. I hope you bring all the cheapest shit you could possibly think of that you could do to me. You know what I'm saying? In the fighting game. You know, like, I cannot find a ranked match in Street Fighter 6. That's why I stopped trying. I stopped trying, honestly. I want to continue playing ranked matches in Street Fighter 6, but unfortunately, I feel like Mortal Kombat 1 stole the entire fighting game audience from Street Fighter. And it's not because... And it's mainly because of the issues that I'm saying now. And if they just did a little bit more to listen to me, you know, I think players would pick the game up and go, yo, this game is fun as hell. It's funny as hell. It's creative as hell. There's a reason why everyone loves this fighting game so much is because it's so over the top. It was the original fighting game that was over the top. I mean, Zangief grabs you, jumps in the air 20, 30 feet, spinning, and then lands on your fucking head. He does like a super tombstone. You know, like the wrestlers. Obviously, the WWE, the original WWF wrestlers, like The Undertaker, they were doing moves like I think they call it the what do they call it? The tombstone. Because you put your opponent's head between your legs and then sit down, and basically that's instant knockout, instant KO. Like, because you basically like are supposed to, like, if you did that on the pavement, you would basically like instantly knock the person out in one move. That's why they call it the tombstone. Like, obviously, the developers of Street Fighter obviously knew about these wrestling moves and just exaggerated it even more. So, like, I guess even WWF has a huge influence on a fighting game like Street Fighter in Japan, because as you can see, like, these fighting moves are making it into fighting games, and they're like, it's almost you know you're paying like tribute. They're paying a tribute to like the fighting styles and stuff, and that's also another thing that makes Street Fighter so unique and so much fun, is that there's fighters from all over the world. So like you always see the Indian players, they're picking Dhalsim. A lot of Indian players actually play the Dhalsim character. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of South Americans, they'll pick Blanca. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll pick someone from their region. Like, I'm one of the few players that does not pick someone from my region, because my region would be Vega. I don't play Vega. I don't like Vega. I never liked Vega. I love the sound effects that he does in Hyper Fighting and Super Turbo. I love that. That's so fucking funny. Yeah! Why do you change that? Why do you change that? When you guys remade Super Turbo, first of all, you should not be able to throw break in Super Turbo. You want to know why? Because the game is so fast that if someone is about to throw you in Super Turbo, you deserve to fucking get thrown. You deserve to get fucking thrown if you're about to get thrown in Super Turbo. It's hard as fuck to get to your opponent in Super Turbo. You know how hard it is to get to Sagat in Super Turbo? Tiger, 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 tiger. It takes you 10 minutes to finally get to him. Of course you should be able to throw your fucking opponent after that. Every time you block a fireball, it puts you full screen again. What the fuck? Of course you should be able to throw your opponent after all that. Tiger, 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 uppercut. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Are you kidding me right now? Are you fucking kidding me right now? I'm doing a game right now, man. So yeah. I don't want to hear it though. All right, man. See, like, my mom always has to come and ruin the whole vibes and shit. I'm trying to show love to these companies, and like, now she wants to, you know, interfere and try to make me look like an idiot online. Oh my God, he's living with his mom. I don't care. I don't care what you think about me. I really don't care. You know what I'm saying? As you can see, like, the background Third Strike is in the backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? and you know what I'm saying? This is, you know, people were making fun of me for playing Street Fighter at one point. Like, I can't believe you're still playing that. Like, when people were playing, like, Gears of War 1, like, when that game first came out, I love Gears of War. And Halo and all that stuff, right? I think Halo, for me, other than Bulletstorm, is the best first-person shooters of all time. Honestly, if I love Halo, but what Bulletstorm did with a first-person shooter is incredible. I'm surprised they never made a sequel. I think they would have easily made a sequel if there was competitive multiplayer. And I think with the graphics they're able to use now, with the 16 gigabytes of RAM and all that, I think you can make a legitimate Bulletstorm with competitive multiplayer. The story mode was fantastic. I didn't like that I kind of struggled after I beat the helicopter just to get out of the fucking room. I hate when they do that. Like, I had so much fun destroying shit. And the helicopter battle was fucking awesome. Like I said, you get what I'm saying? Like Gears of War for me is the best multiplayer, third-person multiplayer shooter of all time. I don't care what anyone says. When they changed it in I think it was part 4 to the robots, I was like, what the fuck is this? That's corny. That's whack. Don't ever do that again. Don't ever allow people to put the you know, like the torrent guns that they automatically shoot at any player in the area. You know, don't do that. Don't ruin the experience for Horde. For Horde, when you're playing like cooperatively against you know, the monsters or whatever, like they get progressively harder, you know, as you go along. That's fucking awesome. I had more fun playing that in the story mode. Don't get me wrong. Of course, I love wiping my ass with players on the internet in ranked. At one point, I stopped playing competitively, like ranked at least, in Gears of War 3. I honestly thought at one point I was like quite possibly the best player in the United, like basically even worldwide in Gears. I wasn't really that good at sniping or anything like that, but like if you know, everything else, I felt like I was top notch. Even with the Boltok. See, I wasn't that good with sniping, but I was amazing with the fucking Boltok. That Clint Eastwood pistol. You know what I'm talking about? The Clint Eastwood pistol that looked like the Joker's gun and shit from Batman. Dog, I was popping dudes' heads off with that shit left and right, dog. I remember I caught 2 in a row with the snipe too. I was souped up. 2 guys were chasing me and shit. I had just picked up the sniper rifle. Because I did some slick shit. I threw a smoke grenade in there so I could pick it up and run out of there. Because none of my boys went in there with me and shit. So 2 guys tried to jump me in the room. I go out of there running. I already picked up the sniper and I went out of there running, dog. I wall bounced out of there. They chased me, dog. I turned around and I headshotted the first dude. And his boy apparently did not learn the lesson. Because as soon as I see someone turn around while he's running and instantly headshot my boy, guess what? I'm running away from the dude with the snipe now. I'm like, yo, he just head popped this dude. He quickly turned around and head popped this dude. He took his head off. And now it's just me and him. And he just finished reloading. So like as a player, as a competitive player, I'm like, yo, this dude's nice. And now I'm going to like avoid this dude. Right? His boy did not learn the lesson. He kept running at me and I had shot at him too, back to back. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even that nice with the sniper. You know what I'm saying? But I honestly think Gears of War, like, best competitive multiplayer of all time when it comes to third-person shooter, way better than SOCOM. I don't care what anyone says. If you guys ever, when you guys lose Call of Duty, if you guys were smart, you would get the guys that make Killzone. You know, I would honestly not even focus on SOCOM. Not as a third-person shooter, not as a first-person shooter. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're gonna make it dope as fuck like Gears of War, then I can understand it maybe being like PlayStation's version of Gears of War, but now it's like SOCOM soldiers and shit. That would be pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie, because we don't have Gears of War on PlayStation. But guess what? Gears of War is the best third-person shooter of all time. Any true fan is gonna tell you that. Me, myself included. I never had, like, when it came to playing ranked matches online, the most fun I ever had is Gears of War. I fell in love with Gears of War the minute I played it one time. My friend showed me the game, I instantly fell in love and said, I have to buy an Xbox. I was never into Xbox like that because it was always Halo this, Halo that. I played it. I was never good enough, like I thought, to ever compete in that type of shit. But I always loved it and I always thought it was fun. Even losing in Halo for me is fun. Even getting run over by that piece of shit that drives the little spaceship hoverboard or whatever the fuck that is. Even getting hit by that dude is kind of fun to me, and losing. Because in my head, I'm like, yo, what a piece of shit he is. He couldn't hop out the car like everyone else and just, try to see who's the better shooter. Because for me, that's the best part about the game, is seeing who's the better shooter. Like, I run into a dude and he's that much better than me. I'm like, okay, he's better than me. Okay, congratulations. But when he runs me over with his fucking spaceship, I'm like, yo, just fucking, I can't stand players like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I love about Halo, what I think Call of Duty should do a little bit more of is what Halo is doing. They should have more casual modes like they do in Halo, like Team Rockets, where everyone has only rocket launchers and sniper rifles. That makes the game so much more fun, dog. For a whack player like me in a first-person shooter, you have no idea how much fun I had playing Team Rockets, dog. Just trying to shoot each other with rocket launchers is fun as fuck, yo. That's what Call of Duty needs to have that. I said Call of Duty and shit. Call of Duty needs to have that. They need to have a mode where only people have rocket launchers. The only ammo in the game is rocket launchers or grenades. That's the problem with Call of Duty. We all understand how realistic and how amazing you make it. And in my opinion, it's one of the best story modes I ever played in a game. The one, Modern Warfare 1 and 2 are the best first-person story modes I ever played. I feel like I'm in a movie from the beginning to the fucking end, dog. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's a shame. It's a shame that Microsoft is now is gonna be the only company that has access to these games. I shouldn't even say it's a shame, because I prefer to play Call of Duty, Halo, and Gears of War on an Xbox controller. If I ever had to play Gears of War on a PlayStation controller, I would never be half as good. Because the way they the way they design the controller for Xbox is perfect for first person and third person shooters. Is it perfect for fighting games? Fuck no. It's horrible for fighting games. I kind of understand why they made the D-pad a circle. Is that so you could get better 360 motions and stuff like that? But let's be honest, 360 motion shouldn't even be in a fighting game at all. 720 motion shouldn't even be in a fighting game at all. You know what I'm saying? As soon as they announce the new Gears of War for Xbox, I'm almost certainly gonna get. I'm certainly gonna get Xbox for sure. I hope they do a Xbox Gears of War edition for the Xbox Series X. I hope it's like a red one with like a black skull and you know what I'm talking about, the cog symbol with the skull in it and shit. Or at least just do the traditional black Series X with a red one on it somewhere, on the thing, man. But if they don't do a Gears of War edition of Series X, I'll be very surprised and very shocked at that. But like, I'm like, I'm a little shocked, man. I'm a little shocked. I just don't understand like how Street Fighter could leave the fans a little like hanging like that. You know, you made a lot of money here in the United States. I don't know how much money you made in Japan, but I guarantee you, if you listen to me a little bit more, you would be making way more money in Japan too, because you're changing some of the sound effects in the game, and I think that's part of the reason why it's so funny and so good in the first place. Same thing with Mortal Kombat, you know. I honestly don't like it. The one thing I would change in Gears of War, I don't mind that someone tags you with a grenade and sticks it on you. Right? I do not mind that. I think if you're such a bad player that someone sticks you with a grenade, you deserve to blow the fuck up. Right? I don't like when they stick a grenade on the wall though, or on the floor, because that makes the game way more like camping. You guys know what I mean by camping. Like players are allowed to like hide in a specific location, like an annex room. Like for example, Blood Drive has the rooms on each side that you go up the stairs to the left or to the right, depending on which way you're going in, right? One way is to the left and one way is to the right, obviously, right? Depending on which way you're going in, obviously, though. But, you know, they have that room where the ring is, and I believe the grenades spawn in there, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. I haven't played the game in so long. But, like, that's the most fun I ever had playing online was Gears of War, no doubt about it. That shit. I remember one time. I remember one time in Gears of War 2. We were playing a Mexican player, dog. This dude was like fucking Rambo. And it's not because he was so amazing at the game. It was so laggy that we tried to shoot. Our entire team was shooting at him at the same time. And he was dodging everyone's fucking bullets like Neo in the Matrix. This Mexican player was fucking Rambo, dog. And he was one-shotting us. I swear to God, he was one-shotting all of us. He would be wall bouncing and shit, and then he would just hit us one time and we would just blow the fuck up. But we're all sitting there shooting him with machine guns, and he does not fucking die. I'll never forget that, dog. He was like the ultimate fucking... He was the ultimate player in Gears of War, dog. But I swear to God, it wasn't because he was good. If we were playing in person, he would have never been able to do none of that shit. But we were just laughing so hard because he was like fucking Rambo, dog. He was just destroying each and every one of us one by one, dog. You remember like the end of the Ninja Turtles movie where they're all fighting Shredder and Shredder's just easily whooping all their ass? That's what it felt like. He was just easily whooping all our ass. We were all trying our fucking hardest, and he's just blocking all our shit. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I love Street Fighter, man. I'm not going to deny that. Street Fighter started it all. I think they can do a couple more tweaks to the game to make it more fair. You know, you know what I'm saying? I think it's ridiculous that you know, everything I'm saying, you know, I think they should listen to me. If they don't listen to me, that's on them. You know, I try to find ranked matches. I don't know if they honestly block me or not, but I try to find ranked matches. I can't find them anymore, so I kind of gave up. They should be thanking me for playing ranked matches as much as I do, because I'm the reason why another player out there can run into another opponent out there. You know what I'm saying? Because I see everyone on TikTok is playing Mortal Kombat 1 now, and I don't see anyone playing Street Fighter 6 anymore. And it's a little sad to me because I want to see everyone playing everything. You know, I don't want them to quit on it. And also, in Dragon's Dogma, I was saying I was trying to tell them, Capcom, because anytime I have a unique idea that I don't see any other game doing, you know, like, and really doing it in this level, in this magnitude, I try to tell Capcom first out of love, because I just love, I love a lot of their franchises. So like I'll try to tell them so that they can implement it in the game and put it in the game, right? And like that's out of love. Like I don't even care if they give me anything. I don't want anything. I'm doing it out of love. You know what I'm saying? So that their game really stands out and stands out as the best RPG of all time. Because in my opinion, I think Dragon's Dogma is the best RPG of all time. As generic as it might like be, oh, there's dragons and there's Cyclops. Who cares? It was still fun as fuck. When I first saw the Cyclops, I was like, oh shit. Because I didn't know what to do next in the game, and I just started wandering around. And I always try to find the secret areas and shit without anyone telling me about it. So I'm like, okay, I found this like treasure chest. Anytime you start finding shit along the way, that means that you're about to fight a fucking boss. So I find a treasure chest. I'm like, oh shit, that was something good in that one. I find another one. I'm like, I fell down a little like 20-foot drop. I'm like, oh shit, there's another one. I have to get it and see what's in there. I'm like, oh shit. And then I look to the left. I'm like, I see this fucking 300-foot monster and shit. I'm like, oh shit. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't think I could beat that shit. But I did it anyway, of course, and I lost. You know what I'm saying? I lost. But after I figured out the strategy of how to beat that fucking son of a bitch, I went back there every single time and beat his ass. I did it for fun and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not gonna lie. Like Dragon's Dogma, I'm not even gonna lie. Did I completely finish? I fought the dragon even though I didn't even completely finish the game. I have like 2 more missions left on the PlayStation 3 version that I have not gotten back to. Just because I was so busy with Street Fighter 5 and Tekken 7 and stuff like that, and Mortal Kombat 11. So realistically, like I'm almost at the end of the game on PlayStation 3, but I've replayed it like on other consoles like the Switch and I mean they have a. I was actually even thinking of buying it for the 5, but I shouldn't have to, even though I mean honestly I should have to because I have the physical version of the game, so. Honestly, I can't, translate that to free download and shit. But like Dragon's Dogma for me is the best RPG of all time, man. And it's like, the thing I wanted to let Capcom know is that the magician shoot. I think I even said it earlier, but I'm jumping back and forth all over the place. First of all, the best RPG that Capcom ever did. Is Okami. It's not Dragon's Dogma. Let me rephrase that. Dragon's Dogma is one of the best RPGs of all time. But if I could only choose one, I would choose Okami all day, every day. In fact, I wish they would redo Okami, but with a different story. It does not have to be the wolf from Japan, the god Amaterasu from Japan that is a wolf god or whatever. It doesn't have to be that. It could be a little chimpanzee monkey in Africa, that has to fight like the King Kong gorilla at the end. And has to swing through vines avoiding the king cobra, the python snake. It doesn't have to necessarily be like, oh, it has to be, because they remade, they did a prequel or a sequel or something to Okami. It was only on the Nintendo DS. That's why I never really played it. Is because I refuse to play like games on a system that small. It's like uncomfortable for my hands. So like as much as I did want to play the sequel, I never did. Like if they released it on the Switch, I probably would. But I think Okami is quite possibly the best RPG of all time. In my opinion, if I could only choose one RPG, it would be Capcom's Okami. It's hilarious. The boss fights are amazing. I don't even want to ruin it, if no one has played that. Dragon's Dogma is amazing as well. That fight with the sorcerer on the rooftop was fucking awesome. I think I felt bad that I couldn't save Fornavold or whatever from the trial. He got arrested and shit. I tried to save him so he wouldn't get arrested. but I could not collect all the evidence in time, and then I walked into the kingdom and shit, and they were like about to hang him and shit, and I felt so bad. That they were gonna hang that fat white guy. But from what I hear, he was mistreating people anyway by overcharging them for rent and shit. He was like a slumlord and shit, apparently. So I didn't honestly feel too bad that they were taking him away like that. But I did try to save him, though. But like I said, I did try to save that fat, bald white guy, though. The one option I wish they would add to Dragon's Dogma is they should add cooperative play. Like me and a friend should be able to play on the same team, doing all the missions and all that stuff together. I think that would make the game way more fun. But like I said, man, I'm a little disappointed. I don't want the developers to be like, oh, he's talking shit about our game. He's saying, not to play it. Well, what the fuck do you want me to say about it? You know what I'm saying? What do you want me to say about it when, certain characters have a real big unfair advantage? You know what I'm saying? And I understand, like, does the charge character have to be a charge character? Can it just be a back-forward motion, down-up motion that has way more recovery time, that has way better frame data? Yeah, it could be. You know what I'm saying? In a way, I understand why they make it a charge move is because it's not fair if it isn't. And some players feel more comfortable playing charge characters than anyone else. I prefer to play characters that are not charge motion. I do know how to play charge characters. Like I was about to start Remy's arcade mode on Third Strike, Street Fighter 3. Remy's so amazing in the game. I honestly wanted to buy a hitbox joystick controller. A hitbox leverless controller just for Remy in Third Strike because I feel like he would be so much better with it. It's just that I'm not necessarily that good with joystick style play. Leverless controllers, I never really used one like that, so I don't really know if it's worth the investment, but, I could do it a little bit. I could do it a little bit, you know what I'm saying? It's not easy. I do it on D-pad, so, like, I miss some charge motion, you know what I mean? See, I missed one right there. I fucked up. See, I'm fucking up because I'm put on the spot right now. See, I fucked up right there. See, if I had a, I was doing it so much better like a few days ago. But like I said, if I had one of those, I think it's worth it because I love Third Strike so much. But it's just that, unless I get Discord, I really can't find matches in these games if I try to play ranked. Maybe I have to download Discord on PlayStation just so I can find more matches on Street Fighter 6. If that's what I have to do, I guess that's what I have to do. I don't know if they have Discord on cell phones, but I wish they did. That way I could just, talk to the players that I normally talk to and just be able to play with them consistently on a regular basis in ranked, though. I want to play them in ranked, But, I'll leave it at that. I'm real happy for Dragon's Dogma 2. I really look forward to that. I don't know how many other players are actually looking forward to that. They didn't announce it just yet. But if they add the sinkholes, I was saying they should add the sinkholes for the mage, that they could just sink the ground underneath the opponents, and depending on what level they are, they could have way more sinkholes in the ground. I think that would be a pretty cool magician, it's always they never do earth. It's always fire, lightning, water. I don't know if they do water. They should, though. I guess that's part of the lightning. But they never do earth. They can control a mountain could pop up underneath the opponent type shit and send them falling to the ground and getting hurt. Or just completely make a big sinkhole underneath them and they just fall to their death, you know? Like, you never see magicians do that in RPGs, though. And out of love, I want Capcom to be the first one to do it so that their RPG stands out so much more from everyone else's. You know, and there's way more environmental changes, like when a mage starts doing like lightning and shit like that, the magician starts doing stuff like that. You know, it should change the entire environment so that it's like it becomes like bright and sunny day to like severe thunderstorm type shit. Like, and it's raining severely, like it's raining, you know, dramatically. You know, I don't know if that's the right word, but like it's raining a lot, you know. But like I was the one like running to Capcom every time I thought of a good idea, like whether it was for Dead Rising or for Dragon's Dogma, you know what I'm saying? Just so that their game has like something that stands out a little bit more and maybe makes people want to play it even more and like really give it the, you know, I don't know how good Dragon's Dogma did initially, but a lot of people say they liked it just like I did. And at first, I'm not gonna lie, when I was first playing the game, I was losing a lot to like easy enemies like the werewolf and stuff. But I just got better at the game, and like I would just hop on the rocks and have my teammates beat them for me until I could level up, and then it was like easy to beat them. You know what I'm saying? But I thought it was an amazing game, man. You know what I'm saying? But I do appreciate what Capcom is doing. I know they don't have to localize the game, but goddamn, if you're gonna localize the game and sell it to fans, at least sell it when you feel. You know, sometimes I feel maybe they just don't know about how cheap the game can honestly be, and they just wait to see what other players are really doing before they do a massive update. And I could understand that, but I think by now they should have done it, and they have not done it. And you know, like for example, like E Honda should not be able to do headbutt into drive impact or into like you know. And like basically like he's like you know, unless you parry, you know, I think that's ridiculous though. You should just have to block. And just because you block a special move does not mean it should drain so much stamina. I think that's another problem with Street Fighter 6 is that when you drain special moves, you lose so much stamina with certain characters in the game. Like Blanca, E Honda, and it's really not fair for a player like me that uses Kimberly, because Kimberly has no way of draining your stamina because she can't just throw spray cans at you unless you're on a hard knockdown. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really fair. Like, you know, maybe it should do chip damage when the opponent is already exhausted. But unless they're exhausted, if I block your special move or your super, I should not take any damage. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think you currently do, but I feel like you do. Just by blocking. That's crazy. Why should E Honda get away with being so much better than other players in the game just for being a scrub? Like, that's some scrub shit. Like, I feel the same thing in Super Turbo. Like, is there a way to counter them for doing headbutt? Yeah, there is. You know, you could full combo Blanca and E Honda for that. But like, it's still not easy to do because the movement of the character is so fucking fast. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I say it out of love, man. Like, I try to help them out of love, out of playing so much ranked matches and running into all the cheap shit that players are doing out there. And having to deal with Blanca and E Honda players in lag when you press a button and nothing comes out and you miss your counter or you miss your super to win the game. I've gone through all that. I've gone through years of that. You know what I'm saying? I've been playing Street Fighter ranked for a very long time now. You know, they should be thanking me as a fan. I've been playing it ever since you originally release hyper fighting on Xbox Live. That was the main reason I bought an Xbox. Just so you guys know, I'm happy that I fell in love with Gears of War as well. But the reason I bought an Xbox in the first place, an Xbox 360, what was for Street Fighter Hyper Fighting, believe it or not. As stupid as that sounds, I was like, yo, wait a second. They're playing Street Fighter competitively, like in ranked now? I was like, hell yeah, I want to do that. Obviously, like after Ultra Street Fighter 2 came out, I mean, not Ultra Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 HD Remix came out, everyone started playing that instead. They started playing that game instead. I thought that game was awesome too. In fact, I was the first player saying that Akuma should be banned from ranked matches, and I had players in lobbies arguing with me. No, he should not be banned. No, I want to use that character. No, blah, blah. No. In other words, they were saying, no, I suck, and no, I want that player to be in the game because I suck. Because unless you guys know about that, he basically I think they may have changed it now, but he was getting players to in like unblockable like setups and shit with charge characters. I might be wrong about that. As far as I'm concerned, he was able to rage and demon them before they could do anything out of. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I remember him being able to do some cheap ass shit like that. Like he would do an instant, not an instant air fireball, but it was like similar to that, where he would fireball you on one side on a charge character. That way you had to block it, and by the time he landed, he would do a raging demon on the other side, and you could not get out of it. I might be wrong about that. There might be some charge characters that could get away with it, maybe by flash kicking or something like that. But I don't think DJ's was that good or something like that. I remember catching DJ players with that. Maybe they just sucked, but I remember catching DJ players with that with Akuma. And you know, I mean, like I said, I'm a huge fan. You know, I really love the game. You know what I'm saying? Street Fighter really started it all. So all these other successful fighting games like Mortal Kombat 1, WB Games is making Injustice, which should have been what WB Games did first, was Injustice 3. That way they could have took a little bit more time with Mortal Kombat 1, because it shows, in my opinion, it shows. It was just that you did Mortal Kombat 11 so good, so amazing, that Mortal Kombat 1 looks like a step backwards from that. The only change that I do like from Mortal Kombat 1, from what I noticed, is the intro, where the opponents are talking shit to each other, and also that, with the exception of Cage, he's the only character that they should tweak, because it's unfair that he has a fatal blow that's basically either an attack or a counter attack. And that's absurd. That's absurd. With that being the way it is, he easily becomes one of the best characters in the game. And I believe it's an unblockable attack as well. I could be wrong about that. But like I said, you know, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it, man. I don't know what else to say about it. My main goal, Mortal Kombat 1, a lot of the stuff that they're doing in the game is right. So I don't have too many complaints about it. Like I said, I think it could be easier to counter your opponent if they make a mistake. Like, for example, Sub-Zero's Ice Ball at point blank range as a blocked combo. You know, I really hope Street Fighter continues to get better and better. I feel like this could be the best Street Fighter of all time, and I can't change that. The Drive Rush, another change I would make to the Drive Rush. Outside of a combo,
I would make it easier to counter the opponent before they're able to pressure you again. So, like, let's say, for example, I do standing medium kick with Kimberly, and I drive rush. My opponent should be able to counter me before I'm able to pressure him again. Within a combo, I love the way it is now. I love the way the combos can, you can really exaggerate the combos and do way more damage using the drive rush. In fact, I was the player that suggested to Capcom in the first place that instead of drive rush being dash, it's just a focus attack so you could get the drive rush to happen automatically. Basically just by doing drive rush. So now a lot of players that were having trouble landing those kind of combos are actually landing those combos now. And it's thanks to a player like me that, you know, is trying to help continue to make the game better and better. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I was trying to get Capcom, you know, I don't care about them giving me money. I would rather them just giving me early access to the game so I could test it and give my opinion about it and see what I think about it. You know, it's players like me that they should be giving the game to. It's longtime experienced players that they should be giving the game to. Longtime veterans that they should be giving the game to give their opinion of the game. And they should not get offended when players are giving them real, you know, criticism of the game. You know what I'm saying? Because it's probably for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm never going to stop being a Street Fighter fan. I think it's one of the most fun fighting games of all time. I play Third Strike basically every day, at least once a day. You know what I'm saying? I still think it's amazing. For me, it's still the best Street Fighter of all time. I think Street Fighter 6 can finally change my mind, change my opinion about it. Like I said, I wish they would revisit Third Strike and add things like universal overhead, being easier to combo into super, and not just into super. Not just into super. I think the reason why they don't make it too easy and too much hit stun is that it would make the game too goddamn hard. I feel they think it is. I don't necessarily think it is, but it is pretty fucking challenging dealing with all that. You know what I'm saying? I do think if they revisited Third Strike, characters like, for example, Elena doing a unique overhead, like forward medium kick or forward medium punch. I believe those are her two overhead attacks, outside of the universal overhead attack, and the jumping attacks, because all jumping attacks are overhead in Street Fighter. I mean, it wouldn't be fair if they weren't. You know, I wish you could like combo out. Like, let's say if Elena lands a unique overhead, forward medium kick, forward medium punch, she should be able to do uppercut after that. She should be able to do reverse dragon punch with kick. I forget what that's called. That she looks like she's breakdancing. I think it should be easier to combo your opponent into that, the breakdancing move. It's very hard to actually land that. I was probably the only Elena player like actually using that against my opponent and actually successfully using it. I thought, you know, those are the only changes I would make if I were to revisit Third Strike. I don't think any character should have like a counter super, like Cammy in Street Fighter 4 had a counter super, where if you hit her, she automatically does the ultra. It was an ultra, my bad, I said super. She had a counter ultra, so did Fei Long. Come at me from any direction you like, or, you know, right, he says that. And I love the animation that Cammy does when the counter ultra. I love the animation that Fei Long does with the 1-inch punch like Bruce Lee at the very end. I just don't believe it should be a counter ultra. Just make it something that the opponent, the player has to combo. You get what I'm saying? Those animations are perfect. That's exactly what the player. You don't have to make new. You don't have to make new super animations and ultra animations every time you make a Street Fighter game. The ones that you already did in Street Fighter 4 are amazing. Were there ones in Street Fighter 5 that I really like Ken putting his foot in your mouth, basically, at the end? I thought that was awesome. You get what I'm saying? I like how they gave Ken, like, the anti-projectile ultra. I felt like in Street Fighter 4 he really needed that. But if the game was designed the way it should be, he wouldn't have needed that at all. You get what I'm saying? I'm a huge Capcom fan. Particularly Street Fighter. I'd have to say if I could only play one Capcom game, it would be Street Fighter. I think they make a lot of amazing. They have a lot of amazing franchises. I'm happy that Capcom did listen to a lot of the suggestions I was making to them. That makes me like real happy as a fan. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want them to ban me from playing ranked. Like, I know as a computer networker, you can find someone's, like, if you find their network address or whatever the hell, you can put a soft ban on it as a network administrator. You can do stuff like that. I'm not stupid. I know they can do that. Whereas if I try to connect, anytime a match connects to me, it'll just automatically reset it and I have to do it all over again and I'll never find a match. I don't want them to do that to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a longtime fan. I'm keeping it real about the game. They should be thanking me for keeping it so fucking real. All these other fake fans, I'm not even the only fan that's saying the shit I'm saying about the game. Other fans are just pretending it's okay. I'm not pretending it's okay because it's not fucking okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. Not after you make so much money with the game. There's plenty of talented developers that know how to program a fighting game out there in the United States and in Japan. And they could easily just add more recovery time to the special moves and supers. That's all they have to do. They call them critical hearts now. Big mistake. Super sounds way better. You get what I'm saying? I would imagine at this point that they're making Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 4. If not, they would be stupid to not be doing it. Because people honestly prefer Marvel vs. Capcom over Street Fighter. And that's because the game is way easier to play and the combos are way easier to do. And if they only combined what the I love the combo system of Marvel as well. I love the way they did Ryu in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I hate that they changed him. You know what I'm saying? I hate that they changed his special move Fireball, the launch button. He did like 5 or 6, like I think it was like 4 or 5 fireballs back to back. That was awesome, dog. Like I kind of understand why you took it out, but like Ryu really needs that. The reason why it was good that he had that is because he really needed something like that. He was always one of the worst characters in Marvel. I mean, he had a real good super, but if you did not have super with Ryu, he was whack. I mean, you could easily pin Ryu down, like, easily. You could easily dominate Ryu. If Ryu is your final character that's not knocked out in your team, and you're fighting like Magneto or like Iron Man and like, you get what I'm saying? Like, if Magneto is the assist, and you're fighting like Zero or some shit, dog, you're not fucking doing shit. You're not doing shit with Ryu in that game. Believe me, I know. I play Ryu in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I play Ryu, I play Akuma, and I play Morgan in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But then I honestly, towards the end, I got tired of I wouldn't even say losing. I got tired of losing some heartbreaking matches and shit, because I felt like I was working so hard. So like I switched to Wolverine, Captain America, and I still picked Morgan, because Morgan I felt was so godlike, or Zero. You know what I'm saying? I was doing better with Morgan than Zero, honestly. I prefer Zero. I think Zero is so much fun. Some of his high-level combos are like extremely difficult to do, and like it's only in my wildest dreams that I actually able to land them. I wish they would make it a little bit easier. You know, like I wish instead of having to charge the plasma shot that he does, you know which one I'm talking about, that you hold the punch button and release it. I wish it was just a motion on the controller, you know what I'm saying? That way it would be possible for a guy like me to actually do those high-level combos. I feel like it's extremely difficult. So like I said, that's basically all I have to say about it. You know, I have a lot of love for the fighting game developers. I just really want them to understand that they do bring a lot of laughter into my life, and I really do appreciate that. You know, you have no idea how much I laugh playing Street Fighter, the older Street Fighter games, even the newer Street Fighter games. All the Street Fighter games are funny to me. I personally like the sound effects from Super Turbo the best, as well as the sound effects from Third Strike the best, especially when Oro gets knocked out. You know, that's funny as hell, man. I love that. Don't change that. Leave that in the game. Don't change that. That's part of what makes the game amazing. Stop changing the stuff that makes the game amazing. I'm tired of Capcom changing the stuff that makes the game amazing and leaving the stuff that should be changed. I'm tired of them doing that. And I'm also tired of Mortal Kombat doing that. Mortal Kombat, for me, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3, the sound effects were always funny in Part 1. It sounded like they sampled a Kung Fu movie in Part 1. It kind of sounded like a generic fighting game, like a Kung Fu movie, but like in a fighting game. And it was still fun, and it was still cool. It was still an amazing game. Those instant knockout combos in the corner were ridiculous. You know what I mean? It seemed like almost every character had it. You know, the sound effects in Part 2 and Part 3 were amazingly hilarious. You know, Sub-Zero putting ice on the ground and having you slip. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's hilarious. Why would you change that? Like, please don't ever give him the automatic ice shower that takes no brains to do. Because in Mortal Kombat 3, Sub-Zero would do ice shower and it would automatically land wherever the opponent was. They didn't have any brains. It's not like the game now where you have to pick exactly where you want the attack to be, the special move to hit. Like, for example, Raiden, he had the lightning bolt. You know, if you press forward at the end of it, if you press back at the end of it, it would be closer. If you press forward at the end of it, it would be as far as it could go. Or if you just left it, it would be like mid screen. You know, that at least takes some brains. You know what I'm saying? That's part of what makes fighting games good, man. Believe me when I tell you, like, part of what makes fighting games good is that, like, talent level that we all love to see at the highest level. Is like, God damn, this dude really just wiped his ass with me, dog. Like, obviously, I don't want to lose, but I love when I see a player, like, in Tekken, like, he wipes his ass with me. But then I'll run into the player later on, and I'll wipe my ass with him now. Like, there's an Eddie Gordo player that's really getting away with, like, cheap wins on me. And I know the player's like, oh, well, I'm going to write that down just in case I run into him in the tournament. I hope you do. I hope you fucking do. What I'm saying is, he's getting away with a lot of wins against me just because the character is so low profile. What I mean by that, he's so low to the ground. A lot of the times you can't, as a martial law player in Tekken 7, There's a lot of combos that, like Dr. Boskanovich, as much as I think he should be banned from competitive play and ranked matches. Because he spends a lot of times on the ground. And what I mean, what he has an unfair advantage, like I think Eddie Gordo has an unfair advantage in Tekken, whereas a lot of your combo possibilities do not exist against this character. Either they miss or he's one. I don't care what anyone says. I know he's not. I've never seen him in tournaments make it that far, but I swear to God, I still think Eddie Gordo is one of the best characters in the game. And it's not because these Eddie Gordo players are so brilliant. It's because he's so fucking cheap. I mean, he's like on the ground, rolling around half the fucking match. 90% of the match, he's on the ground. And guess what? You know, some of the slowest attacks in the game are the low attacks. So he has a huge unfair advantage, in my opinion. They don't have to put him so low to the ground, is what I'm saying. I like that he has his own capoeira style. I love that. I love that Tekken has so much variety. I feel like every character is different from every other character, especially in Street Fighter. And that's part of what makes Street Fighter so amazing, is that every character feels like their own unique experience. You know what I'm saying? I love Tekken. I really look forward to Tekken 8. I really want to get the collector's edition for Tekken 8. I still really want to get the collector's edition for Mortal Kombat 1. I hope they're not overcharging it because I do like supporting these developers for the fighting games I love. Like, I know it's a lot of hard work to make a game like this. I know it takes a lot of talent. I know it takes a lot of hard work. I know they spend years making these things. I know they have talented artists that, like, I wish I could draw that good. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing that they're able to put these games together and make it the way they do. And I really do appreciate that. If you see me talking shit, it's probably for a reason. It's probably for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Because I have better things to do with my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just trying to enjoy my life, like, every chance I get. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I don't want that. All I ask is just don't ban me, because players like me have been supporting your company for years. Like I said, I've been supporting you guys from way before you guys were releasing games on Xbox Live digitally. You know, this Capcom 30-year anniversary collection is not that surprising to me, because I already had that on PlayStation 2. I had the Alpha Anthology. You know what I'm saying? And I think the Alpha Anthology version of Alpha 3 is the best one. You know what I'm saying? It had all the characters, like, from Super Turbo, like Fei Long and stuff. It was I thought that's the version that should be on the PlayStation 5 and the Capcom Fighting Network, is the PlayStation 2 version of Alpha 3. That should be the one that's used in competitive play, because there's so much more variety in it. And I think, honestly, Akuma should be banned from Alpha 3 in competitive play, because he's just too good. He has true unblockables in that game, and it's not fair. You know, in tournaments in Japan, you know, the players were all using Akuma. It's like, it's not shocking to me. You know what I'm saying? You know, Ryu was good as fuck in Alpha 3, but I mean, he was amazing in Alpha 3, but he was not unbeatable in Alpha 3. Akuma was unbeatable in Alpha 3 in the right hands. Those unblockables easily took away more than half of your life. You know how hard it is to come back on Akuma after he already took away half your health bar? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, for ranked matches, I don't even think Akuma should be allowed in Alpha 3. He's just too good. You know what I'm saying? And the PlayStation 2 version is the one they should use, because it's the best one. The PlayStation Portable version that was on the Vita, it had Yoon and it had Ingrid, right? They were not on the Alpha 3 version. I think Yoon may have been, but I don't think Ingrid was though. And Ingrid was obviously developed by the people that make King of Fighters. Ingrid was obviously developed by a King of Fighters developer. Why? Because they always make these little cute little white girls that are fucking hard as fuck to beat. They're fucking God mode. They're like the cheat code that you put in the game and you get this incredible character. Anytime you see a little white girl in a fighting game, dog, they're fucking God tier. It's like the Japanese guys like secretly have a crush on white women. Like they love the way white men, like, dude, the fucking women, the white girls that they put in fighting games are fucking outrageous. They're always amazing. Like Corinne, I love the way they designed Corinne in Street Fighter V. What I don't like is that fake little cross up. You know what I'm talking about? With the shoulder, the EX shoulder would hit as a cross up. If you did a reset and then did an EX cross up, EX shoulder while they were still in the air, it would hit as a cross up on the other side. Even though her character's aiming in the exact opposite of direction, it still hits as a cross up. And I hate when they do shit like that in fighting games. That should not be in the game. I lost to a Corinne player that beat me with that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And it's not fair to me. Because when Laura does her cross-unders, she does not do cross-unders that hit as cross-ups. Corinne does. Now, obviously, she has to have meter to do it, but guess what? Corinne is not a fucking easy character to beat in the right hands. So, like, if anyone just wants to, like, a quick shortcut to just pick the right character in Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or Tekken, just look at what Justin Wong is picking. Because that man when it comes to fighting games, he is not an idiot. There's a reason why he has won more, like way more tournaments, I think up until Sonic Fox, than any other player in the game. But also keep in mind that when Justin Wong was winning these tournaments, he was doing it in games that were way harder to win at. Marvel 2 is not an easy fighting game, not even to this very day. And he had the longest win streak record in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I believe he had back-to-back victories. I think, did he even have 3? Didn't he have 3 Marvel vs. Capcom 2 championships? If it weren't for Sonic Fox, Justin Wong would be the number 1 player in United States history as the best competitive fighting game player of all time. And in my honest opinion, if Justin Wong was using Kimberly, I would be trembling. I would be shaking in my boots. Because the problem with Justin Wong is, like, I understand Chun-Li is a good character. She's not as good as a Street Fighter V, I don't think. Me personally, I don't think. In Street Fighter 6. Is he still one of the best players using her? Yeah, of course. He always takes the character to the next level. But I just don't think he's using the right character in Street Fighter 6. Is he real good with Dhalsim? Yes. But is he a true Dhalsim player? No. Everybody knows the best Dhalsim player in the United States, I believe, is that Puerto Rican player, what's his name? Sabin. I don't know what it was, from Team Spooky. Everybody knows that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows that. You know, if there's any Dhalsim player I would love to play every single day, it would be that guy right there. It would be Sabin, no doubt about it. In fact, I probably already have. In fact, the amazing Dhalsim player from Super Turbo that I beat, that was top 10, and when I was playing ranked in Super Turbo, I beat him with Ryu. I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, you beat Dhalsim with Ryu. That's not that hard to do. Yes, it fucking is. Against a fucking real good Dhalsim player, hell fucking yeah, it is. Hell fucking yeah, it is. Have you ever played a good Dawson player in Super Turbo? They're pieces of shit. You think I'm playing cheap? I never play cheap. You have never seen cheap until you play a Dawson player in Super Turbo. Because everybody knows Dawson wipes his ass with Guile. As a Guile player in Super Turbo, you can't even use projectile against Dawson. So guess what? Bye-bye. You lost. Adios. Game over. Because without projectile with Guile and Super Turbo, guess what? Adios. You lost. Bye-bye. Game over. You'll know what I mean by that if you play a good fucking Dawson player. You cannot beat that piece of shit. What was I going to say? You know what I'm saying? What is it? Down, medium punch? Forward, medium punch? What is it? Down, forward, medium punch? Goes right under the fucking projectile and hits him low? And counters all reaction? I mean, mind you, I mean, he does have to hit you like 46 times, like 72 times with it. But like, if you're dumb enough to keep throwing them shits, well, then you deserve to fucking lose to that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, the best Dawson player that I beat was a top 10 Dawson player on Super Turbo HD remix. His name was Ego, EGG with a 0. Instead of an O, he put 0. His name was Ego. I don't know if that was Sabin or not, because you know, everyone says that he's the best. You know, from what I've seen in the United States, he's the best Dawson player, no doubt about it. In Street Fighter 4, he was actually the only player in the United States that was actually able to beat the best Ryu player from Japan in a money match. And he didn't just beat him, he wiped his ass with him. Daigo Umehara is considered the best fighting game player from Japan. Everybody knows that out here. Sabin, I believe he's Puerto Rican, he wiped his ass with Daigo. Back when everyone said Daigo's unbeatable here in the United States, I never said that. I always knew I could beat him. I always knew I could beat Daigo. Everyone was saying, oh my God, Daigo, he's unbeatable. Oh my God, run, everybody run. I was the one player saying, I'll wipe my ass with Daigo. I know I could beat him. I always believed I could beat him. I always believed I could beat him. So yeah, he was the first player to, like, he didn't just beat him, he wiped his ass with him. Now, everybody knows that Dawson is a pretty good counter to Ryu, especially in Street Fighter 4. In my opinion, even in Super Turbo as well, HD Remix, all that. That's why they should have never added a throw break in Ultra Street Fighter 2. They messed up big time, because guess what? It's almost impossible for a lot of characters to beat Dawson now, because really the throw was the only thing that you had working for you. You know, either landing a jumping attack or throwing them. And guess what? He could break a throw now. Not air break. I'm talking about he could completely escape a throw escape. Not air break. Throw break. I'm talking about throw escape, which was originally introduced in Third Strike. Introduced in Street Fighter 3. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I try to find ranked matches all the time. I'm not going to lie, I don't go to competitive tournaments for Street Fighter, even though I really want to. You know, if it was up to me, I would live in Las Vegas just so I could go to the Evolution tournament every year and play the best players in the world in fighting games and try to win every year. If I could, I would. I wish I could live so close to the casino that hosts the Evolution tournament. That way, I could literally not waste any fuel or anything and still go to the tournament every year. because I'm really big on not wasting fuel, not going on airplanes or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? If I could walk, even if I have to walk like 5 miles, 10 miles to do what I got to do, I'll walk it instead of taking an Uber or taking a car. You know what I'm saying, or getting a ride. I know I could do that, but I prefer not wasting the fuel because, you know, if you really do the math of how much water is used, not only just to make fuel, but like, you know, for everything like just coffee pots and stuff. Everyone's drinking coffee. Everyone's, you know, wasting the water to drink coffee every morning and stuff like that. You know, shout outs to Dunkin' Donuts. I love the way they do coffee. I love the way they do donuts. I used to work for them actually. And, you know, I think that was one of the best jobs I ever had. I love them. You know, the jelly donuts they do are incredible. You know what I'm saying? I probably shouldn't even tell people what my favorite donuts are because they'll probably go there before me and buy them all because they've done that to me before. You know, the blueberry glaze is incredible. The jelly donut's incredible. Everything they do is incredible. I'm not a big fan of chocolate, so I don't ever get nothing like that. Oh yeah, that pumpkin spice donut. I hope that stays there forever, man. That pumpkin spice donut is incredible, by the way. I wish they had a bigger version of it, like a glazed donut. The glazed donut's real good too, as well. But like to make a long story short, man, you know, I really do want to go to these events and compete. I like the money is cool. Of course, I would love to win the money, but I want more than anything else for the bragging rights because. You know, for me, that means more than just the money. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I'm going to be able to do a lot more with the money if I win. But, like, the title just stays cemented in history forever. You know what I'm saying? You winning a tournament cements you for the history of the game and the franchise that everyone, like, oh, this is the number one player. This is the player that everybody wants to beat. And all these players know that when they run into me, I'm a problem. I don't care what tournaments they won or none of that shit. That don't mean shit to me. They know I'm a problem. They know I'm a problem. And they know that any player that knows about me knows I've been grinding ranked Street Fighter and ranked fighting games for a very long time, dog. So, like, I may have changed my name a couple times, and you might not recognize it now, but everybody knows that I've been grinding for a long time, dog. You know what I'm saying? And players like me are the reason why a lot of these new players that are winning tournaments now are as good as they are because we put them on to the true strategy of the game. We open their eyes to how you're supposed to approach the game. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what the community is about. Like it's like you're going there and you're learning and you're evolving and you're getting better if you're intelligent and you know that's what makes you a better player. You know what I'm saying? Running into those better players is what makes you a better player. That's what pushes you to play harder and train harder and get better and learn from your mistakes. And that's what makes the fighting game community so amazing is that, you know, there's players that have way more experience in Tekken than I do. And I'm still able to beat and compete with them. And that makes me happy that my experience from Street Fighter and other fighting games like Mortal Kombat is really paying off in you know 3D fighting games as well. In my opinion, I wish when it came to Soul Calibur, I guess there is a reason why there's a block button instead of because certain characters just have so much range that I guess that they made it a block button for a reason. I really want to get into Soul Calibur as well, but I'm just not that good at it. I don't, you know, like that's the problem, you know, unless I get Discord, I can't really get matches with players from, games like that. I would love to play Soul Calibur ranked. I would love to play, you know, Persona, Battle, Arena, Ultimax. I think that game is one of the best fighting games that came out recently as well. I love the characters in that game. I love Chie. Chie is my favorite. I also love the fake Ryu in the game. the one with the sword. I don't know his name exactly. He's like the white boy. I don't know if he's a white boy, but he has like the gray hair. He has a sword. I know that much. But yeah, like I love the game. You know what I'm saying? I love the game, man. I love fighting games. Fighting games is my favorite genre of video games. You know, and you know, it'd be a shame if they block a player from me like me from playing because it does, I have the first of all I have the constitutional right to say whatever the hell I feel in my heart and in my mind. You know what I'm saying? And that should not, as a man or a woman, affect you to the point where you feel it's gonna change your mood or your way of life at all. Because you know, although words mean something, you know, as you get, you know, more mature, you realize that, you know, even though people are trying to bring you down with their words or whatever the hell and trying to anger you, you know, it's up to you to control that and not allow that to frustrate you and get the best of you. You know what I'm saying? Because as much as they try, they're just making you better and better. So like, as much as they think that they're your haters, if you approach it right, you know, they're just making you stronger and better. And you know, like, they're doing you a favor. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I love Street Fighter. I play Third Strike all the time. You know, every day almost. I play Super Turbo almost every day. You know, I think E Honda. Yeah, I don't think E Honda's flash kick motion, down up kick, charge motion should hit on the way up. It should have projectile invincibility at a certain point on the way up, but on the way down is the only time it should hit. You know what I'm saying? But I'll leave it at that, man. You know I've repeated some of the stuff I say before, but you know, if you guys don't want me playing right, it's cool, man. I'm still gonna play against the computer, and I'm still gonna download the DLC characters and play against the computer. You know, if that's the best I could do, you know, I'll try to play matches with people I know and stuff. It's cool, man. Like it's not gonna make or break me. You know, if you guys are, I believe that honestly, your fans have all left to Mortal Kombat 1, just like I predicted. And, you know, if you listen to me, I think you could get them back easily. But, you know, I just don't, with Tekken 8 and Mortal Kombat 1 out and Tekken 8 around the corner, I just don't think it's going to get any better for Street Fighter unless they listen to a guy like me. You know, in a way, I kind of understand why the level 3 is maybe a command grab instead of a... I just think all of them should be attacks and they should have to be good. And it doesn't necessarily have to do as much damage as it does. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a level 3, but like, well, I don't know. I try my best to give my suggestions of what I think can change to make the game better. I know it's not easy as developers to really fix that. It takes a lot of time and a lot of expertise. I really appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I guess that'll be the video. You know, I try, man. I try as a fan. I was one of the only fans, you know, talking about, you know, the proximity normals and stuff. You know, I was calling them close standing normals. You know, no one was talking about it and saying that it should be in the game except for me. But, you know, and then I really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of a lot of these other channels out there. I'm not going to deny that. I love Justin Wong's video game channel. He's hilarious. I wish I could play with him like every day because he's one of the... I honestly think I'm better than him at Street Fighter. I'm not going to deny that. I honestly do think I am better than him at Street Fighter. In Marvel, could I compete with him and beat him? Probably. But like 9 times out of 10, I think he'll probably at least win maybe... It's just his the combos he was doing with Wolverine are just incredible. I mean, I try, but I'm just not that good at doing those kind of high level combos. he's just so good at it. And I think it has primarily a lot to do with him playing on joystick, so he gets way more possibilities for the move to come out than I do. And I wish that wasn't even an issue in fighting games, which I feel like nowadays it's becoming less and less of an issue whether you use a joystick or not. Because as you can see, players like Knuckle Doo are beating Daigo, players like Idon are beating Daigo, and he's using controller, and Daigo's a longtime joystick player. So that just shows you that it has less to do with what you're using to win, but more to do with how good you are as a player to win. You know what I'm saying? But I'll leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? I do love fighting games, and if they ban me, they ban me. I can't really change that. You know what I'm saying? I'll just find ways to play against what I could play against. It's not that big a deal. You know what I'm saying? So I'll leave it at that, man. Hopefully they do make the changes that I do say, because I don't want Street Fighter to lose all its fans, and it seems like it's already happening. Unless they ban me, and that's the reason I can't find any ranked matches anymore. But I feel like, especially after Mortal Kombat 1 came out, I can't find any games anymore in ranked or anything else. And I would hate for this to be the end of Street Fighter 6 already. The game has not even been out 3 months, and it's already basically has declined in popularity. That's pretty sad. As a developer, like, I did like that Street Fighter DLC that they did for Exo Primal. I have not played it yet. I really do want to play it, but it's just Capcom really pissed me off as a fan. There's a lot of changes that can be made, and I think they're pretty easy fixes. And even if it means just adding more time to the recovery of the final frame of animation to a special move or a super, we would all be like, okay, they're frozen there, and it doesn't matter. We win. We get counters now. We're not gonna be like, oh my god, he looks like a statue. We're gonna be like, yes, we get the counter finally. All right, man. I'm done, man. I'm done with the video, man. I'm done.